What if the two most advanced aircraft carriers in the world today were to engage in battle? Who would emerge victorious? The USS Gerald R. Ford, the latest and most advanced carrier in the U.S. Navy's fleet, or the Type 003 Fujian, China's newest and most formidable carrier? These questions are not just hypothetical scenarios, as both carriers represent a significant advancement in naval technology and capability, and they could potentially come face-to-face in a real-world conflict. In this video, we'll explore the capabilities and strengths of both carriers and attempt to answer the question of who would win in a hypothetical battle between the Type 003 Fujian and the USS Gerald R. Ford. In recent years, China has been rapidly modernizing its military, particularly its naval capabilities. One of the most notable developments is the Type 003 Fujian aircraft carrier, which is expected to be commissioned in the near future. This has led to comparisons between the Type 003 and other modern aircraft carriers, such as the USS Gerald R. Ford. In this article, we'll compare and contrast the two carriers and analyze their strengths and weaknesses. First, let's start with the basics. The Type 003 Fujian is China's third aircraft carrier, following the Liaoning and the Shandong. It's currently under construction and is expected to be commissioned in 2024. The carrier will be approximately 305 meters long and 75 meters wide, with a displacement of around 85,000 tons. It will be powered by a conventional propulsion system with 4 steam turbines and 6 diesel engines. The carrier will have an air wing consisting of around 40 J-15 fighter jets, as well as helicopters for anti-submarine warfare and search and rescue missions. In comparison, the USS Gerald R. Ford is the newest and most advanced aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy. It was commissioned in 2017 and is the lead ship of its class. The carrier is approximately 337 meters long and 78 meters wide, with a displacement of around 100,000 tons. It's powered by 2 nuclear reactors, which provide virtually unlimited range and endurance. The carrier has an air wing consisting of around 75 aircraft, including FA-18EF Super Hornets, EA-18G Growlers, and E-2D Hawkeyes. One of the most significant differences between the two carriers is their propulsion systems. The USS Gerald R. Ford is powered by 2 nuclear reactors, which provide several advantages over a conventional system. For one, they allow the carrier to remain at sea for extended periods without needing to refuel. This gives the carrier greater flexibility and endurance, as it can operate further away from its home port for longer periods. In contrast, the Type 003 Fujian will be powered by a conventional system, which limits its range and endurance. Another key difference is the size of the carriers. The USS Gerald R. Ford is significantly larger than the Type 003 Fujian, with a displacement of around 100,000 tons, compared to the Chinese carrier's 85,000 tons. This means that the U.S. carrier has more space for equipment, supplies, and personnel. It also has a larger flight deck, which allows for more aircraft to be parked and launched at the same time. This gives the carrier a greater offensive capability and allows it to conduct more extensive operations. However, the Type 003 Fujian does have some advantages over the USS Gerald R. Ford. For one, it's expected to have a higher degree of stealth than the U.S. carrier. The Chinese carrier will likely incorporate various measures to reduce its radar signature, such as angled surfaces, radar-absorbent materials, and a low profile. This will make it more difficult for enemy radars to detect and track the carrier, increasing its survivability in combat. Another advantage of the Type 003 Fujian is its air wing. While the U.S. carrier has a larger air wing, the Chinese carrier's J-15 fighter jets are considered to be more advanced than the FA-18EF Super Hornets used by the U.S. Navy. The J-15 is a modified version of the Russian Su-33 fighter, which incorporates various Chinese-made avionics and weapons systems. It's also capable of carrying a wider range of weapons than the Super Hornet, including air-to-air missiles, anti-ship missiles, and precision-guided bombs. In terms of defensive capabilities, both carriers are equipped with a variety of weapons and systems to protect themselves from enemy threats. The USS Gerald R. Ford has advanced anti-aircraft and anti-missile systems, including the evolved Sea Sparrow missile and the rolling airframe missile. It also has a sophisticated electronic warfare suite, which allows it to jam enemy radars and communications. The carrier's aircraft are also equipped with advanced sensors and weapons, such as the AN/APG-79 AESA radar and the AIM-120 AMRAAM missile. The Type 003 Fujian is expected to have similar defensive capabilities, although details are limited at this time. It's likely to have a combination of close-in weapon systems such as the Type 1130 and Type 730 Gatling guns, as well as longer-range anti-aircraft missiles like the HQ-9 and HQ-16. The carrier's J-15 fighter jets are also expected to be equipped with advanced sensors and weapons, such as the PL-12 air-to-air missile and the YJ-12 anti-ship missile. So, who would win in a hypothetical battle between the Type 003 Fujian and the USS Gerald R. Ford? It's difficult to say for certain, as there are many factors that would come into play. However, there are a few key points to consider. Firstly, the USS Gerald R. Ford has a significant advantage in terms of range and endurance thanks to its nuclear propulsion system. This would allow it to operate further away from its home port and remain at sea for longer periods, giving it greater flexibility and strategic value. On the other hand, the Type 003 Fujian's advanced stealth capabilities would make it more difficult for the USS Gerald R. Ford to detect and track it. This would give the Chinese carrier an advantage in terms of surprise and first strike capability. In terms of offensive capability, both carriers are well equipped with advanced aircraft and weapons. The USS Gerald R. Ford has a larger air wing and a wider range of aircraft types, which would give it a greater degree of flexibility in different types of missions. However, the Type 003 Fujian's J-15 fighter jets are considered to be more advanced than the U.S. Navy's Super Hornets, which could give the Chinese carrier an advantage in air-to-air combat. Ultimately, the outcome of any hypothetical battle will depend on a wide range of factors, including the specific tactics employed, the terrain and weather conditions, and the skill and experience of the crews involved. However, it's clear that both the Type 003 Fujian and the USS Gerald R. Ford are highly advanced and capable aircraft carriers, and any conflict between them would be a significant and complex undertaking. In conclusion, the Type 003 Fujian and the USS Gerald R. Ford are two of the most advanced aircraft carriers in the world today. While there are some significant differences between them in terms of size, propulsion, and capabilities, both carriers are highly capable and formidable warships. Any comparison between the two must take into account a wide range of factors and variables, and the outcome of any hypothetical battle would depend on many complex and unpredictable factors. Nonetheless, it is clear that both carriers represent a significant advancement in naval technology and capability, and they will continue to play a critical role in the global balance of power for years to come. So, what do you think? Who do you think would emerge victorious in a hypothetical battle between the Type 003 Fujian and the USS Gerald R. Ford? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.